But when I move on and find somebody new, give them all the love.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Darian, aka LOL Not Darian on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and comment down below if y'all like my hair. So I did it myself. I'm still on the fence. Actually, I like it, but I like it like this. I don't like it. I'm not gonna show you all the middle because I don't like it, but yeah, I'm gonna be at my best friend's wedding in literally like a month and a half as a maid of honor, and so I want to know if I should go ahead and just braid my own hair, if this is tea enough, you know, if I look good enough, or if I need to go ahead and drop that $450 and pay somebody to do it for me. So let me know down below if y'all think I did a good job. This is part 3 and hopefully the finale of the whole story time with me and SB and like why we broke up. Like I said at the beginning of this series, this is not the end of SB on this channel because obviously I was with the man for 3.5 years. This is the last 4 months and then the aftermath. So there is so much shit that happened before all of this. So I will be telling story times about that. If you have not seen parts 1 and 2, go watch those first in order. I will leave them in the description box down below, and I'll also put an info card. Without further ado, let's get into this story time. So we left off on me telling SB that I was gonna start seeing other people. Him like getting upset that I told him that, and me being like, all right, well, I start acting right, but like low-key was still about to start talking to people. So before we get into that, I need to backtrack. I saved these 2 pieces of information for this part of the story so that it could all make sense. So number 1, I have a homeboy. We will call the homeboy Jacob. Me and Jacob have been friends since what, we were like 15. We've known each other since we were 11. So me and Jacob are like tight, right? Jacob and I don't cross boundaries. Like, the only time I've ever spoken on the phone with him was when me and SB broke up and I was tired of sending Jacob voice notes about all the shit that was going on. So I was just like, bro, let me just call you and like get all this shit out. And so I called him. I was like venting to him for 3 hours about the shit. The only time, like unlike SB and his like female best friends, the only time me and Jacob have ever slept under the same roof was when I moved into my old apartment, like after I graduated college, and SB, Jacob, my best friend Peach, and SB's parents helped me move into my apartment, and then SB's parents left, and the 4 of us got shit-faced in my apartment and just had like a kickback or whatever, and then me and SB obviously fell asleep in my bedroom in the bed, and Jacob and Peach made a pallet in the living room and slept. That is the only time. There has never been any other time. There are like very clear boundaries in me and Jacob's friendship, and it has never been crossed. Jacob and I have like, ever since we graduated from high school, we would hang out. We would either go like to the movies or we'd like go get something to eat, never dinner, but like we'd go get like brunch or like lunch together or something like that. Or we would go like to Dave and Buster's, something like that, right? Just to hang out. SB would accuse me of cheating with Jacob so often, like so often. And I would tell him all the time, like, why would I wait until I got into a long-term committed relationship with somebody to realize that I have an attraction to Jacob and start fucking around with Jacob? Like, Jacob and I had been single at the same time for 3 years before I met SB. Why wouldn't we have done something in those 3 years? You know what I mean? Number 1. Number 2, I used to talk to Jacob's brother. Why would I want to talk to Jacob? And like, it wasn't a thing of like, you know, SB was like, oh, you're probably like going over to Jacob's house to like see his brother, da da da. Jacob's brother is dead. He passed away back when we were in high school. So it's like, he literally swore that me and Jacob had something going on. It's like, why would I fuck with him when I used to have something with his brother for like a whole year? That makes no sense, you know? If you feel some type of way about us hanging out, then come with us. Whereas like with SB and his friends, he wouldn't let me hang out with them. But I would invite SB to come hang out with me and Jacob. Like, bro, come to the movies with us. Come get something to eat with us. Come to Dave and Buster's with us. Like, we literally don't do shit. We just go, have a good time. We talk, we catch up. He tells me about the girls that he's seeing. I tell him about the dudes I'm seeing. Or at that point, since I was with SB, I would tell him about like, since I didn't talk about me and SB's business, I would tell him about like school or some shit like that or work or something. And so I would tell him, like, if you feel some type of way, come with us, like join us, we don't care. And SB would be like, no, like I don't want to intrude on like your friendship time. Oh, now that I'm calling your bluff, you don't want to intrude. You don't want to intrude, but you're already intruding by cussing me out every time I come back from hanging out with Jacob, or cussing me out before I go hang out with Jacob, telling me that I'm gonna go cheat. Okay, whatever. So that's that, right? Number two, like I said, after me and SB broke up, he completely threw Fran to the wayside. Like, and the reason why I know this is because one, he stopped posting her on his Instagram, and two, she wouldn't post him on her Instagram, but she would post like in his car, like playing passenger princess and shit. She stopped posting anything like that. And so I was like, okay, they're not hanging out anymore. And all of a sudden, him and Gaga are hanging out all the time. All the time. I see Gaga, taking pictures, playing passenger princess. They would be hanging out together, and I would see like his tattoos or something, or like see them like at like this dessert spot near our home. She lives in Dallas, but he would drive her over here and like hang out with her in the city or whatever. And like I would see her at like one of our favorite spots with him. Like I would see her take a picture at the table and like see his fucking tats or whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck? Sorry, y'all. My tit is itchy. That's one thing about Kankalon. Your titties be itching, bro. Sorry. when it brushes up against your breast. Ooh. But anyway, so SB and Gaga got a kitten together after me and SB broke up. They got a kitten, and he named her Millie. She was a black and white kitten. She was so adorable. And there was one day where he and I got into an argument, and I told him, like, come get your shit. Like, I'm tired of you. Come get your shit. So he came to my house, he brought Millie, and he was like, I don't want to take my things. Like, that's just too final, and I don't want us to break up. Like, this is supposed to be a break. I just need some time away from you, and blah, 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 blah. And, like, I'm over here just, like, playing with Millie while he's telling me all this bullshit, right? And, like, while I'm playing with Millie, I start realizing, like, okay, maybe I don't hate cats. Maybe cats actually are cute. Maybe I do like cats. Maybe I want a cat. He leaves with Millie or whatever, and he ends up, there was one day where I was at my apartment. I got a phone call from him, a frantic phone call, and I'm like, hello? And he was like, I can't find her. And I'm like, you can't find who? And he was like, Millie. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said that his roommates came in and she bolted out of the door, and they lit, like, their apartments, the way they're set up, it's like just outside. Like you just walk up outside and like go in, right? And so she ran out like that, and he could not find her, and he ended up losing her. Like, that was the end of Millie. And like I remember being on the phone with him thinking, like, why are you calling me? Like, I'm not co-parenting the cat. Gaga's co-parenting the cat. Go, like, call Gaga. What the fuck? But fast forward, he and Gaga get another cat together. I don't know the name of this cat, but I guess Gaga decided that it would be better for her to keep the kitten this time. Mind you, like I said, she's in Dallas. He's nowhere near Dallas. He's in a different city closer to here for school. She has the kitten, and he would just drive up to Dallas to see the kitten every once in a while. Gaga was a horrible cat parent. She would, like, the cat was like, what, maybe 6 weeks. I think that's the youngest that you can adopt them from the shelter, because that's like the earliest that they're able to be like weaned off of milk or whatever. She would literally go out for like the entire day and just fill up the food bowl to the brim and then go out. And that's fine with some kittens, but she didn't have enough time with the kitten to understand what type of kitten that one was, right? Because for Bailey, right, when I got Bailey is really good at self-control when it comes to food. Like, even when she was a kitten, when she was full, it didn't matter if it was still food in that bowl. She wasn't gonna eat it. She's full, so she's gonna walk away, right? But there are some cats who don't have self-control like that, so that's how you end up getting overweight cats. Like, that's how I know that Bailey will never be an overweight cat. Like, when she's done, she's done. She will not come back to that food, so she's hungry again. But like, there are some cats, like, they have that same mentality that we have, where you're not done with your food until your plate is cleared. And so that was how that cat was. And so it would just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. and it ended up getting so big, like it was just the stomach that was big, but like the leg, like the legs were still really small, the head was still really small, and the stomach was dragging on the floor. That's how bad it was, right? And SB would like, he was telling me about it, and he was just like, she's really fucking irresponsible. Like, I want to take the cat, and like, I'm thinking about going back up there and getting the cat this weekend because I really just don't like how she handles raising the kitten and blah, 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 blah. And he was telling me that, right? Later on that week, before the weekend came, he gets a FaceTime call from, oh, not I said her name. Okay, let's run that back. He gets a FaceTime call from Gaga, and he's like telling me all of this, right? Because he once again calls me frantic, crying, everything. And so he's telling me this on the phone while he's crying, and he was just like, she literally does not care. And I'm like, what's going on? Apparently the cat started having seizures over and over and over again. And Gaga had called SB and was like, I don't know what to do. And he was like, why are you calling me instead of taking her to the fucking vet? Take the cat to the vet. So she's like, okay. So she takes the cat to the vet, and the vet is telling them that like when she takes the cat to the vet, she calls SB back on FaceTime, and so they could both be there, like, you know, while talking to the vet, and she has her homegirl next to her for like support or whatever. So the vet is telling SB and Gaga, like, you can either run these tests to figure out what's wrong with her, but it will cost $1,400, or we can put her down. We can euthanize her. He told Gaga to give the vet the phone because Gaga was like, okay, euthanize her. And SB was like, at this point he started selling again, so he was like, you know, well, hold on, let me figure it out. So he's talking to he was like, give the vet the phone and let me talk to the vet. So they're talking or whatever. They're trying to like, he's trying to figure out if there's any other solutions that they could do or something like that, right? While he's talking to the vet, he hears Gaga and her homegirl laughing about something. He asked the vet to give her back the phone, and he was like, I'm sorry, what is funny? And she was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, you're laughing while we have a literal baby, like, sure it's a cat, but like, it's still a baby, on the hospital table about to be euthanized. How are you able to find anything funny in this moment? Basically, I'm pretty sure at that point that was the end of him and Gaga. All of that is like what y'all need to take into consideration, right? So with both of his cats, I started thinking that I wanted a cat, and I started doing my research and everything. Also around this time, I had joined Tinder. And not only that, but like on Instagram, girl. One thing about SB is that he didn't understand that just because I didn't tell him about the guys that were, you know, trying to get with me, trying to get my number and everything, he didn't understand that just because I didn't tell him about them didn't mean that they didn't exist. And like, the reason why I didn't tell him about it, like for instance, I remember there was one time we had a plug that I had found from somebody, and this was like obviously back when I smoked, and we went to the plug's house to get some. And when we were leaving, the plug basically sent me a text like, what you own, and like sent me like inappropriate things, right? And I was like, bro, I was literally just in your house with my boyfriend. Like, what are you talking about? What am I on? And he was like, I don't give a fuck about that white boy. I'm trying to see what you got going on. And I blocked him, right? But I did not tell SB because I knew that if I told SB, he would make it seem like I did something to provoke him and make him think that it was okay to send me things like that. Because one thing about guys who are like extremely insecure, number one, and number two, psychologically abusive, they will make sure that you feel guilty for things that are not your fault. So when that happened, I literally didn't say anything. I just blocked him and moved on. So fast forward, SB was like asking me like, oh, you know, let's go see if he's got some, like hit him up. And I would like make an excuse like, oh, he said he's not selling today, or like he said he sold out, or he's out of town or something. That's all, he was in Chicago, like just random shit, just so that we could go ask somebody else or like try to buy from somebody else. And then after a while, SB just stopped asking me because he thought that he was an unreliable plug. But like, no, I blocked him. I had to block him, right? SB was not used to getting bitches. So anytime a woman would like compliment him or like, you know, tell him that he was cute and like in the DMs or something like that, he would tell me about it. And I'd just be like, I don't care. But like, okay, cool, good job. I don't know. So I don't think he really expected me to have any options when I told him I'm going to start seeing other people. Girl. I was dating, okay? I was out. I was on the town. I was getting wine and dine. I was getting flowers. Girl. Okay, niggas left and right galore. And it was just like, you really played on my top. So now I gotta show you. And I'm not gonna lie, at first, when I had first joined Tinder, it wasn't even to look for guys. It was literally to like go on there to see if he was on there. And I even put my location to his college town to see if I could find him. But when I started seeing like, when I said like, I'm gonna start seeing other people, I was like, okay, bet. And disclaimer, before I said that I was gonna start seeing people, I did hit up a guy that was like on my body hard on Instagram for like the past year, and we definitely hooked up. We definitely did. I did not do it on the first date. I did fuck somebody on the first date, but we'll get there. But me and that guy, like we had our whole little shebang-a-bang, and it was a good time, kind of. And and after that, I like basically fucked, kicked him out, and never spoke to him again. Yeah. But anyway, so fast forward back to Tinder. I was like on Tinder a lot, right? And that's when I met the psychotic sneaky link, right? Psychotic sneaky link. If you haven't seen that story time, go watch that story time. That's actually a really good story time. I have receipts in there and everything. I'll put it in the description box down below. Ooh, girl, stop talking so fast. Oh my God, stop talking so fast. Anyway, that's when I met him. But then I also met this other guy we will call Adam. Adam and I matched on Tinder, but like he never reached out to me. So I was just like, you know, okay, whatever. Like I'm not gonna hit him up first. What I did not realize was that I have put in my bio on Tinder, do not message me here because I don't have my notifications on, DM me on Instagram. So he had DM'd me on Instagram, and I didn't realize till about like 4 days later or something. And I was like, oh, hey, Mr. Handsome. So I messaged him back, and we started texting and everything. And I'm pretty sure that was like, I don't even fucking know, a Friday or something. By that following Tuesday, we had a date planned for that upcoming Saturday. Like, we were not playing no games. I don't play no games. Like, I know there's some girls that like to text a guy for like a month or something before they go on a date. No. You got 2 weeks to ask me on a date before I block you. We are grown. Nigga, take me on a fucking date. Within a week of us texting and him getting my number and everything, we had a date planned. So around this time, I had like just kind of stopped texting SB like that. He would text me. I wouldn't text back till like days later and things like that. And he could feel that I was starting to drift away. The day before, like the night before my date with Adam, my first date with Adam, we had planned like, basically Adam and I had planned to go to this Vietnamese cultural festival here in Houston. And it was, cause like at first we were just gonna go get some pho, but then like I found out about the cultural festival and I was like, oh, we should do this. Like, you know, maybe they would like have some more food than just pho there, and like, you know, we can see like paintings and like, you know, a pageant or whatever. And he was like, shit, I am down. Like, you know, that's an interesting ass first date. We were gonna meet up at the cultural festival at I think 1 p.m. I think, yeah, 1 p.m. we were supposed to meet up there. But since I live in North Houston, the NRG Stadium is about like 40 minutes away from me. And for him, it's only, I think it was only like 20 minutes or something. So I knew that I was gonna have to start getting ready at around like 10:30, like shower, do my makeup, do my hair, get dressed and everything, because I was gonna have to be walking out of the house at noon. I'm like planning how I was gonna like do everything, right? And I get a phone call from SB. So I answered, I'm like, what's up? And he was like,
do you want to go get a cat with me tomorrow?
And I was like, what time? Because I have plans. And he was like,
Well, when are your plans?
I was like, it's at 1, but I need to like be at home at 10:30 so I can start getting ready. So I can start getting ready for my plans, right? And I was like, so if you want to get the cat, then you'll have to be here at like 7 in the morning. Like, no bullshit. You're gonna have to be here at 7 in the morning. And he was like, okay, all right, I'll be there. And I was like, okay, cool. I hung up. I knew he was not gonna be there at 7 in the morning. And one thing about SB is that he was so used to me moving on his time and when he wanted to do things that I knew that he wasn't gonna be considerate of the plans that I had. So I didn't even like have in mind that we were actually gonna go get the cat, right? So I woke up the next morning at 8 in the morning, and of course, no message from SB. So I woke up, I had breakfast, and then after I had breakfast and everything, I went and took a shower. When I got out of the shower, I think it was like 10:30 on the dot, and I got a call from SB, and he was like,
hey, I'm so sorry, I just woke up. Like, I'll be on my way in 20 minutes.
and I was like, oh, well, I don't know why you're telling me because I'm not going. And he was like,
what do you mean you're not going?
and I said, I'm not going. I told you to be here at 7. You're calling me at 10:30 and you are still at home. He was still in his college town. That's an hour and like 15 minutes away. And I was like, you're still at home, seeing you're about to leave in 20 minutes. I don't have time for that. I told you I needed to be at home at 10:30 so that I could get ready. It's 10:30, so I'm gonna be at home getting ready. I don't know what to tell you. And he was like,
okay, dearie, whatever, bye.
and he hung up. And I was like, okay. So I kept getting ready, right? I'm getting ready, and 11:45, it's 11:45, and so I'm doing like the finishing touches on my hair, doing my baby hairs, putting on my perfume, all that, right? I get another call from SB. Oh, this is what I also forgot to tell y'all. Me and Jaylee had just started being friends again at this point, and so me and Adam, our date was supposed to end at like 4 or something, and then me and Jaylee were gonna go do putt-putting together later on that night. And so we were gonna like do putt-putting, maybe get some drinks or something, whatever, right? I get a call from SB at 11:45, and I'm like, what's up? And he was like,
oh, I'm on my way, like, are you ready?
Oh, you sound like you slow.
I told you I'm not going. And he was like,
Well, like, why can't you go?
and I said, I told you I have plans. You're calling me at 11:45 while you're still on the road to ask me if I'm ready. I'm not pushing my plans back for you. I have shit to do. And he was like,
All day though? Like, you can't go after?
and I said, yes, all day. I have plans. I'm not pushing them back for you. I have to go. And he was like,
Are you serious?
and I was like, yes, I'm serious. And he was like,
Okay, all right. Okay, bye.
and he hung up, right? And I was like, okay. So I got in my car and I drove to NRG Stadium, pulled up to the thing. I remember literally I told Adam like, oh yeah, I'm 10 minutes out. He sent me the money for like the parking or whatever, came in, and we had a great time on our date. Turns out the putt-putting place that me and Jaylee were supposed to go to needed a reservation to go there. Like, it was not walk-ins, so we weren't able to go that day, which meant that me and Adam spent literally the entire day together and then the entire night together. And I did indeed fuck on the first date. Sue me. But I mean, hey, he was my boyfriend for a year after this, so obviously I did something right, okay? But anyway, so me and Adam, like, we had like a good time or whatever. I left because that next day, or yeah, that next morning, Jacob and we had like a brunch. Jacob and I had brunch plans the next morning, so I had to get up and leave, and I told Adam that I would call him later, and he was like, okay, cool. And so he like walked me to my car, I left, and that was that, right? Got back to my apartment, I got ready and everything, and I remember Adam had sent me a text, and I will never forget this. He sent me a text and he said, I don't know what your plans are with me, but I'm gonna make it clear right now, I'm trying to be your man. And I was like, okay. Okay. And he was like, I know you probably got a roster and shit. I don't care about none of that. I'm gonna be number one on that list. And I was like, we'll see. He definitely did, but we'll get there, right? So after that, fast forward, my birthday was coming up and SB had texted me and asked what we were gonna do for my birthday. And I was like, what do you mean we? Like, huh? I'm over here making plans with my man. Like, what are you talking about? My man that's not my man, but will be my man. What are you talking about, we? So I was like, I didn't know we were gonna do something together for my birthday. And he was like, yeah, like we can go to Vic and Anthony's like we always do. Like, it's been a while since we've been back there. Like, we haven't been there since our anniversary back in February. Like, we should go to Vic and Anthony's for your birthday. Or like, I remember you said Steak 48 was good. Maybe we can do that together. And I was like, oh, well, I have plans. I was going to sleep over at Adam's house and bring my birthday in with him. And then he and I were gonna wake up the next morning, go to brunch. And then I was gonna come back over on this side of town. My friends and I were gonna go get drinks together and then go to Mastro's. So I was like, I have plans. And he was like,
All day?
that was his favorite line. That was his favorite line because he was not used to me being booked and busy. I was like, yes, all day I have plans. And he was like you can't squeeze in, like, I was like, no, I can't squeeze shit in. I am going to be busy all day. I have plans all day. And he was like, okay, well, what if I took you to brunch the day before? And I was like, yeah, that works. And he was like, oh,
Okay, all right, I'll be there for brunch the day before, and you and I can like do like a little like brunch date together for your birthday.
and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. So we hang up, and I was doing my hair for my birthday, right? So I miscalculated how long it was gonna take me to do my hair. So when he got to my place, I was still braiding my hair. And he came in, I was like, yeah, we're not gonna be able to go anywhere because I'm literally only halfway done with my head. Like, I'm not going out like this, obviously, for a birthday brunch. And he was like, okay, you know, that's fine. Like, I'll go get brunch. And like, he came in with like flowers and like gifts and like cake and shit and cupcakes. Like, he went all out, right? And he was like, okay, that's fine, you know, go ahead and order something from this brunch place that was like across the street from me. Go ahead and order something from there, and then I'll go pick it up for us, and I'll bring it back here and we can eat it together. And I was like, okay, cool. So I ordered it, he left, I'm still braiding my hair, he comes back. While I'm like in the middle of braiding my hair and I'm eating, he goes,
Can you come cuddle me?
because he's sitting on my couch, and I was like, can I eat first?
And he was like, yeah. I really miss cuddling you.
And I was like, oh, okay, give me a second. So I like finish eating, and then I go and I like lay next to him, and he was like,
Well, come closer. Like, we're supposed to cuddle.
and I was like, okay.
Okay.
So I got closer to him, and we didn't even watch something I wanted to watch. We watched a fucking Batman movie or a Batgirl movie. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, who said I wanted to watch this? What? But I was just like, okay, so we're like cuddling. He was like,
I miss this so much. Like, you don't understand how much I missed you, and like how much I miss like being near you, and like, could we go lay in the bed and do some skin to skin?
and I was like, I'm not doing all that, SB. Like, I'm literally in the middle of braiding my hair. I'm not taking my clothes off to cuddle with you. Like, no. I don't have time to be laid up in the bed. Like, I have shit that I have to do tonight. Like, I can't just waste time being laid up in the bed with you. And he was like, okay, I get it. And so we cuddled for a little bit more, and then he left. I finished my hair, and I went to Adam's house. I went there. I remember I told him that I wanted a weighted blanket. I always wanted a weighted blanket, but like, it was literally just in passing, and I forgot that I told him. And so when I came in, it was gift wrapped on the counter for me, and I was like, oh, what is this? He was like, just open it. And I opened it, and I was like, and he was like, yeah, remember you said like you always wanted one? I was like, I don't remember that. I literally forgot that I told you that, but like, this is so sweet. So we like had a great night together. We brought in my birthday together. The next morning we went to brunch and everything. I had made up my mind that day that I was gonna go get a cat. So I went and looked, ooh, big stretch. I went and looked at the shelter for cats or whatever and see like which one that I wanted, and I saw a picture of Miss Bailey, who was formerly known as Snow at the shelter. And so I was like, she came in that day like on my birthday, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go tomorrow and I'm gonna get her. And I did exactly that. So I got Miss Bailey the day after my birthday, and literally the day after that, my mom surprised me with a family trip to Destin. So I was like, well, fuck, I just got this kitten. I don't know, like, I need somebody to watch her. So I didn't want to ask Adam for the simple fact that, like, Adam was a very busy man. Like, he worked 2 jobs. So he literally only had 1 day off a week. And 4 days out of the week, this man was working like 12 hours between both of his jobs. So it was like, I need somebody that's going to be home a little bit more frequently to watch over a kitten. Like, she was literally only 6 weeks old. So, and plus he had a big dog. Like, he had a pit bull lab mix, and like, even though he was like the sweetest dog and he absolutely loved cats, it was just like, I don't know how my kitten is gonna feel about being around a dog that big, right? So I asked SB if he could watch Bailey for me. And I was like, cause like, in my mind, it just made the most sense. He didn't, the man didn't have a job. He barely went to class, and he already, since he already had a cat, he already had all of the things that a cat needed, like cat food, toys, treats, things like that, right? So I was like, okay, let me ask him. So he said, yeah, like, I can absolutely watch her, just like, you'll have to bring her to me because I'm gonna be busy, so I won't be able to drive all the way to Houston and come like get her for you and da da da. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, that is an absolutely reasonable compromise. I drove her, I dropped her off, went on my trip, came back, got her back from him, and it was cool, right? SB had came to my house uninvited. He just showed up at my place about like 2 weeks after that, right? Or maybe a week after that, I can't remember. And he told me, like, you know, I'm ready to work things out with you. I miss you so much. I just want us to be back to how we were. Like, I'm ready. I can feel it. Like, I can feel that I've changed and like I'm a better person now, and like da da da. It's been like a month since you last screamed and cussed me out. Like, what are we talking about here? He was like, you know, like, you can even come meet my friends. Like, my friends are in town tonight, and like, we're all going to a party. You can come with us. Do you want to come with us? And at this point, I was always spending, like, I would go to Adam's house every Saturday and spend it with him. So or I guess Friday nights, because I think he also had Saturday off at this point. But anyway, I would go and like spend it with him, spend the weekend with him. So while SB is like inviting me to this party, I'm like, oh, well, I have plans tonight. And he was like, you always have plans. And I was like, yeah. Yeah. And he was like, well, do these plans involve a man by any chance? And I literally looked him in his eyes and I said, does it matter? And he was like, I mean, it doesn't, but like, you know, I've been single this whole time, and like, I haven't been talking to nobody, and like, you know, if it involved a guy, like, you should have told me that you were seeing other people and like blah blah blah. And I was just like, okay, whatever. It involves another guy. I don't know, like, what do you want to do with that information, right? So he was like leaving out, and he was like, well, I'm still gonna like try and get you back. And I was like, okay. And then like, he was like, can I have a kiss? And so he kissed me, and it was like a long peck. And I remember, this is like how checked out I was. I remember I was standing there like this while he kissed me the entire time. I swear to God. And I was just, didn't even close my eyes. And then he pulled away, and he was like, I miss that. I miss that so much. I miss you so much. And I was like, all right, have fun tonight. And he was like, I will. And he walked out. He walked out, right? So fast forward, like later on that night, he was like, I really wish you would have told me that you were seeing other people. Like, I've been womanless and friendless for the past so-and-so months, and like da 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 da. And I was like, SB, I literally did tell you. I told you that I was gonna start seeing other people. He's like, you never told me that. And I was like, yes, I did. I DM'd you on Instagram. Remember that time when you screamed at me and then blocked me? I DM'd you, or one of those many times that you screamed at me over the phone and then blocked me. I DM'd you and I told you I'm gonna start seeing other people because you got me fucked up. And he was like, I don't remember seeing that. And I was like, you literally responded to it with a voice note. And I went to our DMs and I replied to it. And I was like, this voice note, do you not remember that? And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I might have been high. And like, Nick, shut up. Shut up. Fast forward, I tell him like a week later, that's when Adam told me like, hey, you know, it's going on to be in like 2 months since we went on our first date. I just want to know where your head is at, and you know, da da da. And I was like, I really like you. I'm not seeing any other people, because like at that, I'm not one of those girls where like, you know, I only focus on one guy at a time when I'm talking to somebody. I treat these niggas like it's the fucking Hunger Games. Dead ass. Like you need to fight for me against 14 other niggas in my phone, like straight up. So 14 is dragging it, but like still, you know. So but like at this point, since he and I were like getting more and more, I started like slowly just dropping everybody else off like flies, because it was just like I'm too busy, I'm too preoccupied with this man, and like I like this man entirely too much for me to entertain anything with anybody else, right? But I got to know him first. That's what y'all need to remember. Stop cutting everybody off for one man that you don't even know, you haven't even gone on a date with yet. Why are you doing that? We're grown. But anyway, so I told him like, yeah, I'm not seeing anybody else at this point. Like, I do really like you. I would like to explore more with you. And he was like, okay, like I would love for you to be my girlfriend, but I'm gonna ask you in person, and like, you know, we could have a conversation about our expectations with the relationship and things like that. And I was like, okay, cool. So so when he texted me that, I messaged SB and I was like, hey, you know, I just want to let you know that we're never going to fix things. I'm not interested in working things out with you. I'm seeing somebody else right now, the guy that I was telling you about. Oh, because I remember he asked me, he was like, I'm sorry, y'all, I'll be getting off track. I forgot, he asked me like, you know, do you like, are you interested in any of these guys? Like, you know, are you taking any of these guys seriously? And I was like, most of them, no, but there is one that I really like. And he was like, damn, not gonna lie, you sound like you've been mad busy. I was like, okay, like what the fuck does that mean? But anyway, so at that point I told him like, yeah, no, like remember that guy that I was telling you about, who I said that I did really like out of the guys that I was seeing or whatever? He decided that he wants to make me his girlfriend, and I want that too. So I like, this is where you and I end, and even if he and I don't work out, I still want absolutely nothing to do with you. And so he was like, okay, well, can we still be friends? And I said, sure. After that, me and Adam were locked in. We got in a relationship, I think a week later, and you know, it was smooth sailing. SB would like text me every once in a while, like here and there, whatever. And I remember one time he texted me, this was in, I think, January or February or something. It was in February, because I'm pretty sure I texted him happy birthday, because fun fact, both SB and Adam were Pisces men. Shoulda known. But I mean, Adam wasn't like horrible. Like, the way our relationship ended, he kind of had me fucked up, but like our relationship was too good as a whole for me to ever come up on here and be talking about him, you know, talking cash money shit about him the way I be talking about these people in these damn story times. So that's like one thing y'all will never get from me, is a story time about Adam, because he just meant entirely too much to me, and the relationship was entirely too good for me to ever come up on here and talk about him the way I do be talking about these people. I had texted SB happy birthday, and he said, you know, thank you, blah, blah, blah. And like, remember how I told y'all that he was European, right? He ended up getting his US citizenship that January. And so I was like, oh, that is so good. Like, congrats, blah, 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 blah. And I remember he said, he was like, you know, thank you, I really appreciate it. And he was like, the crazy part is I literally got arrested like the very next day. And I was like, for what? And he said that he got caught speeding. He was doing 176 or whatever. And I was like, oh, you know, that's kind of crazy. Like, you know, that sucks, blah, blah, blah. And that was that, right? Fast forward, this is in May. I had went to sleep one night, right? As one does. And when I woke up the next day, I saw a message from a girl at like 2 in the morning. She sent me the message at like 2 in the morning. And I woke up at 6 in the morning the next day and saw the message, right? But I remember seeing her in his following and followers list back like after we had just broken up or whatever. And I was like trying to see who he was like following and all that, right? The message said, hey, I'm SB's most recent ex and I am worried that I'm not really sure what I got myself into. So I messaged her back and I'm like, are you okay? And she was like, yeah, like I'm okay. And she ends up telling me that she is the girlfriend that SB had after he and I broke up. She reaches out to me and she tells me that she is his most recent ex and he stole over $600 from her. And she wants to know if he was always like this, and like if he was always like this or if she brought that out in him. And she also wanted to know what the real reasoning was for why we broke up, because she felt like he was lying about why we broke up. And so I tell her, like, you know, he cheated on me and like blah, 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 like this, that, and the third. What was his reasoning for why we broke up? She told me that he said that we broke up because I cheated on him with my best friend. I knew immediately that she wasn't lying because, like I said at the beginning of this video, he was constantly accusing me of cheating on him with Jacob. I start asking her questions and we're like, basically, there is no better clarity than hearing about how your ex's relationship after you was like when you are trying to figure out if it was you that was in the wrong or if like they are just that type of person. You know what I mean? Like when you are like constantly being gaslit and you're like, is it me? Like, am I bringing this out in them? To finally have that validation from somebody who has also been in a relationship with them tell you like, no bitch, they're actually fucking insane. Like they are out of their goddamn mind. It's like, whoa, okay, so it wasn't me. That is such a fucking relief. It wasn't me, right? And that was like that moment of clarity that I needed, because I was really worried that there was something wrong with me. And like, even though Adam and I's relationship, the entire relationship, literally up until the very end, even after we broke up, we never got into an argument. Like not once, not a single time. And that was like validation enough, but it was also just like, I don't know if it's because like I'm holding things back, but at the same time, I was like telling him when things would bother me. But like when you go through something like that, like what I went through with SB, it was like a lot of like mind games. So even now, like I still have issues mentally, I'm not gonna lie, where like I genuinely can't trust myself. And so like I can't trust my reality and like the reality I live in. So there are times even when I'm showing signs that I was the sane one, that I was the normal one, where I like just doubt that those signs actually exist. You know what I mean? Or that they're actually valid. So to finally hear his like most recent ex-girlfriend also say the same thing to me, like, no, we used to argue all the time. He used to scream at me. He used to cuss at me. And like, he used to tell me that like I was crazy because I had bipolar disorder. And like, I thought, you know, maybe he's right or whatever, even though I never had another relationship before him where I was having these type of arguments and da 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 da, right? And it was so validating, right? So I asked her, when did they start dating? Y'all will not believe this. They started dating, or they started talking at the beginning of September. And they started dating in the middle of September. Remember when he hit me up about getting a cat with him? That was when they had started dating. I don't know what to say.
Mind y'all, because I thought that he was getting the cat by himself, I let him use my mom's home address to adopt the cat because the shelter will call your apartment if you have an apartment listed as your address instead of a house address to make sure that the apartment allows pets. And so it'll alert your landlord so that you'll start having to pay like pet fees and like all that shit. And he didn't want to do that. He just wanted to adopt the cat. And his parents live in an apartment. So he asked if he could use my mom's home address. And I said yes. Mind you, the new girlfriend, her parents had a house. I don't know why he asked to use my mom's home address. So literally, even after we broke up and I wasn't speaking to him anymore, he was still getting letters in the mail at my mom's house pertaining to his cat from the shelter.
Because I wasn't able to get the cat with him, he turned back around and asked her to go get the cat with him. So that cat that he was FaceTiming me about was the cat that he got with her. While he's literally texting me in October talking about, I've been womanless and friendless for the past 3 months. No, you haven't. And she even said, like, at the beginning of our relationship, I went through his phone and I saw like so many messages between him and other girls. And that is crazy. Wow. Which, I mean, duh. But like the fact that he just, like, he didn't even have to lie anymore. Like, we're not together anymore. You see, I'm moving on from you. Why are you still lying? What do you gain from it? What do you gain from this? She also tells me, get this. When I asked him to watch my cat while I went to Destin, he had her watching my cat. He had her watching my cat for me. Because of course he would have his new girlfriend watch my child for me. Cause that, yeah. The new girlfriend that I know absolutely fucking nothing about. Who I don't even know exists. Right. And she, around the time when he started trying to get back together with me, like, when he came to my house and like kissed me and was like, you know, I really like, I miss us and like da da da. She had cheated on him. She had cheated on him and he finally got a taste of his own medicine and he didn't like that shit. So he tried to get his lick back with me and come back to me to try and like use me to make her mad. And he failed because I was already past the point of wanting anything to do with him. She cheated on him and that's why he was in my fucking phone, in my face, in my house, asking me to cuddle, asking for skin to skin, asking me to kiss him. Y'all, I'm like, wow, that's actually nuts. She was like, yeah, no, don't worry, girl. I definitely got our lick back for the both of us. I definitely cheated on him. And I was like, okay, T. So then the gag, the biggest gag of them all, right? She tells me that they got into an argument about something, right? Whatever they got into an argument about. And she was watching the cat that night and they had gotten locked out of her apartment because they were outside arguing. And so he was like, give me my cat back, because as soon as they break up, the cat is his. It's no longer theirs, it's his. And he's like, give me the cat back. I want my cat back and we can be done with this. And so she was like, okay, why can't, like, can I just have this night with her since it's going to be the last time I get to see her? Can I just have this night with her and then I'll give her back to you in the morning? And he was like, no. So he went in to try and like open the door and they're locked out. She forgot her key and it was like one of those doors where it automatically locks. So he's like, you know, trying to open the door. He's like kicking at the door, banging at the door. And she's like, can you stop? I don't have the money to replace the door if you break the fucking door. Can you stop? Like, my roommate will be coming soon, or you can just go home. Let me have this last night with the cat. And then after that, I will drop her off and you don't ever have to worry about me asking to see her ever again. But like, can I just have this night, or can you relax and wait for my roommate to get here? He was like, no. So he called his mom. And his mom told him, call the cops. Why are you calling call the cops for what? Call the cops for what? So he calls the cops. The cops pull up. And you know what he didn't know when he called the cops? He didn't know that he had a warrant out for his arrest. He didn't know that he had a warrant out for his arrest. And so he, when the cops pulled up, they asked to see some ID. And they showed their IDs and they said, "Oh, you're SB?" And he said, "Yeah." They said, "Yeah, there's a warrant out for your arrest. So you're under arrest." And they arrested him and took that man to jail. They took him to jail. And I remember he told me that his parents didn't know and he had like the bond money for it and he bonded himself out with $5,000 and blah, blah, blah. She told me, no, his dad came and picked him up from jail. Okay. This man is a fucking, I mean, I knew he was a liar, but like just lying for no reason. Like you didn't even have to tell me that you got arrested. You could have just kept that to yourself if he was going to lie about why you got arrested. So, and I saw his mugshot and I was like, hey, because fuck you. So anyway, after that, I texted him and I like cussed him out, right? Cussed him clean out. I remember I said like, I had copied and pasted it from my notes and I told him, I was like, you're literally just like your drug addicted father. And I was like, you're a stupid, dumb bitch, and that's why you got arrested. Like, y'all. And I was like, and you spent our entire relationship trying to prove to me that I was the problem, and look at you. You had the same exact issues with me that you had with your new girlfriend, or with your girlfriend after me. So who really was the fucking problem? And after that, I remember I had unsent the message because I was like, maybe I shouldn't. But then he DM'd me on Instagram and he was like, what did he text me? I don't know why he didn't just text it. But he DM'd me on Instagram. He was like, what did you text me? It was something about Dallas, because it was something like, I was like going and fucking bitches in Dallas all the time and catching fucking chlamydia. Like it was, you know. So I repasted, because like I said, I put it in my notes first before I sent it to him. I recopied it from my notes, pasted it into the message, sent it to him, and unfortunately I did not wait until the read receipt, but I know he read it since he DM'd me and asked me what it was about. After I sent that text message, I immediately blocked him. And I remember he went on Instagram. After he read it, he went on Instagram and he called me twice on Instagram. I didn't answer, and after the phone calls ended, I blocked him there. I blocked him on Twitter, I blocked him on Snapchat, I blocked him on TikTok, I blocked all of his friends, I blocked all of his family, I blocked his newest girlfriend, I blocked everybody. I blocked everybody that had to do with him, because I knew for a fact that he was going to try and reach out to me any way that he could. And so I didn't want to give him the opportunity to be able to reach out to me. I went on every app that I could think of and I blocked everybody he knew that I could think of, right? So I go on about my life. I go on about my relationship and everything. One day, New Year's, 2025. It was literally, the clock struck 12. Me and Jaylee, we were like kind of irritated because the club was packed, and it was grossly packed. I hate packed clubs. Okay, I could have me a good ass time at a club, but it better not be packed or I'm gonna be irritated. So we did our countdown in the club, and then after that we left, right? While we were leaving, I had Jaylee take pictures of me in the street. It's like maybe 12:05, 12:03 at this point. She's taking pictures of me in the streets, and I hear a noise. I hear a voice.
Now I want to sit back and relax and enjoy my evening. When all of a sudden I hear this agitating, grating voice.
No. There's no way. There's no way.
Oh no, this can't be.
Because once again, I live in the same apartment complex as his parents. I live on the same floor as his parents. What are the odds that I never see him in my apartment complex ever? But I see him 40 minutes downtown at the club on New Year's. I remember looking and I see him walking with his newest girlfriend and like, you know, bridal style, just carrying her. And I'm like, there's no way. So I'm just looking at them. And like Jaylee doesn't know, so she's still just taking pictures of me. She's thinking I'm just like, you know, looking like quizzically off into the distance or whatever. No, I'm trying to like, I don't have my glasses on, so I'm having a squint, right? I see them walking, and I see his girlfriend, like she keeps turning because she recognizes me, right? So she keeps turning and like trying to look at me, and I'm just looking at her, and I'm just like, what are the odds? So that's literally all I'm thinking, is just like, what are the fucking odds that this is where I see him, right? So afterwards, I literally like start bust out laughing after they like are out of eyesight. And I'm like, and I remember I was trying to get Jaylee's attention, like tell her like, you know, it's SB. So afterwards, I'm cracking the fuck up, and I remember yelling like, "You're a fucking bitch" to him, right? Or something like that, right? Me and her just start laughing, and I'm just like, what are the odds? Like, that's crazy, right? So after we like get done taking my pictures, we go and get in the car. And we're driving back to my place, and I get a call from a number. And I see the name, and I know the name. It's his girlfriend's name. And I know her name because obviously like he had posted with her, like they went to like Mexico or some shit, or Puerto Rico, I don't know. Back when I had found, like, basically when I had blocked him, I knew that like that was his girlfriend because he had posted a picture, or like, you know, some pictures with them or whatever of them in Mexico together. And so he had tagged her, and I went to the tag, to the like account or whatever, and I blocked her. But like her name on Instagram is her name. So I saw in the caller ID it said her name, and I was like, and Jaylee was like, and so I answer it, and I'm like, hello. And SB was like, hey, he was like, were you at a party with Peach? And I was like, no, I'm not with Peach, I'm with Jaylee. And no, I wasn't at a party, I was at a club. And he was like, oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to talk to you about like everything that happened. Like, I know some girl, he tried to make it seem like he didn't know. Ooh, why am I saying people's names? He was trying to make it seem like he didn't know the ex that reached out to me. And I feel like he probably told, like, I'm pretty sure what I feel like happened was the ex had reached out to the newest girlfriend to warn her, because she seemed like that girl, like the girl's girl that would like be like, hey, watch out for him, like he's a fucking weirdo and he steals, he's a thief, you know. But you could tell he was trying to make it seem like he didn't know her on the phone. He was like, I know some girl named blah 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 most likely reached out to you and told you some things about what happened that were not true, and like things that I said that were not true, and so, his girlfriend, thinks that I should clear the air for the new year. And I agree. I think we should clear the air and just like have a conversation about everything that happened, and just like, you know, clear some things up. And I was like, SB, I don't give a fuck what you have to say to me. Do not ever call me again. And I hung up in his face. So after that, I ended up texting him. I texted her and I said, I don't care what your ex may or may not have been lying about. What I do know is that you spent our entire relationship screaming at me, cussing at me, and gaslighting me. What I do know is that you popped up with chlamydia 3.5 years in a committed relationship and tried to blame it on me. Do not call me ever again. You are blocked for a damn good reason. Go to hell. And after that, I blocked her too.
Also, I just want to say, like, when I blocked her on everything, when I said that I blocked her on everything because I blocked him and all of his friends, all of his family, and her on everything, I obviously did not have her phone number, because why would I? And so that's how he was able to reach out to me from her phone number without being like on a star 67 number. But once I had her phone number, I was able to block that as well. So I just want to clear that up.
Yo, that was that. That was that, because it was just like, you got me fucked up. Like, don't ever call me again. Don't ever contact me again. Like, why would you do that? And bitch, why would you let him take your phone to call me? Why would you give him your phone to call me when you know that I have him blocked on everything. Obviously you had to know that he was blocked on everything for you to have even given your phone to him to let him call me, because why else would he need your phone? Otherwise he could have just used his own phone and like DM me on Instagram or something. If you know that he is blocked on everything to where he cannot contact me anymore on his own devices, why the fuck would you give him yours to contact me? Like, were you not thinking, do you not realize that like you just violated that boundary? I set up that boundary because I don't want to speak to him. Why the fuck would you give him access to bulldoze over that boundary? That's not okay. That is not okay. And it was just so, I was so fucking frustrated and irritated. I was pissed off. Like, it was just like, I literally am trying to live my life. I'm literally trying to live my life and I have this man calling me. And like I said, that's why I blocked him and everybody he knew on everything, because I knew that he was going to try and use one of his connections to get to me, and look exactly what the fuck he did. But yeah, y'all, so that is the story time about me and SB, why me and SB broke up, the aftermath. Hopefully there are no more story times about that. You know, hopefully I don't run into him again. Hopefully I don't have any encounters with him again. And I'm just like, I'm so happy that I'm out of that. I'm so happy that I'm done with that. I'm so happy that like I don't have to worry about no shit like that ever again. Like it feels so good to finally be free of all that. That is it for today. I hope you guys like this story. I'm so sorry that it's long. I'm gonna try and edit it to make it under an hour. Let's see if I can do it. Let's see if I can do it. Probably not, but we will see. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.
But I needed you.